People are getting better and better at sniffing out AI content because it's almost too balanced, too perfect, too synthetic. I mean, you could publish a LinkedIn article, a blog post, or a video, and within seconds, someone is thinking, this post or this video reeks of AI. And the second they think that, the trust, gone. The connection you're trying to build, cut. You see, the more creators are using ChatGPT to write their content, the faster their audiences are starting to pick up on these different AI tells. That's just what the brain does. It recognizes patterns. And that's what we're going to be fixing in this video. I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT to write like a human. Real tone, real texture, no robotic patterns. And by the end of this video, you're going to have 10 specific ChatGPT instructions to help you get this done. And I'll also share with you whether these different instructions are good for written content, for video content, or for both. Plus, I'll let you know whether it belongs in your prompt or your ChatGPT customization settings. So you can literally copy and paste them directly into your workflow starting today. Now let's go. Oh, and one more thing, for each individual issue, I'll also be sharing the specific wording that you can use to fix it. So it might be a good idea to pause the video at that point and then take a screenshot of it. Alright, now let's get into it for real. First up is sentence rhythm. Now, if you look closely at AI writing, you'll notice that it pretty much writes very much like a metronome. Every sentence has the same length, the same structure every single time. And yeah, that may look good on paper, but it's a dead giveaway because humans don't talk like that. Sometimes we have longer sentences or we ramble. Sometimes you just cut it short. That natural rhythm is what helps keep people engaged. Now, if you want your content, whether it is for writing a video script or any of your written content, if you want it to sound a lot more better and a lot natural, then you want to prompt ChatGPT with this. Write with varied sentence lengths and rhythms, including occasional fragments. Now this one is a prompt edition, but you can also drop it into your ChatGPT customization settings if you want it more permanently baked in. And like I said, it's good for both video content or for written content. And when you start using it, you'll immediately start feeling the difference. Let's say you're writing about email marketing and why it still works. Now AI might say something like, email marketing is a cost-effective method of communication with your audience because it allows brands to maintain their connection. Yes, that's perfect. Yes, that's polite. But yes, that's also dead in the water. You as a human might say email works because it hits the inbox directly. It's cheap, it's personal, and you show up whenever you want. You see how that bounces a little more? And that bounce is what makes it feel more natural and more authentic. So you want to train the AI to copy that type of style so that it feels more believable and more real when your audience receives it. Now let's talk about transitions. When you see words like however, furthermore, or in conclusion, that is a 100% AI calling card. I'll say it again, nobody talks like that. You want it to flow more like a conversation instead of something that sounds like it's out of a textbook. So what you can do is prompt ChatGPT with this. Avoid formal transitions, use conversational connectors like so, by the way, or anyway. And this instruction is also suited for both video and written work. And I personally think that it works better as a prompt level change where you just add it into your prompt. But if you really want to, and you want ChatGPT to speak like this more permanently, then you can also add it to your ChatGPT customization settings. It just makes your content feel more alive, not like you're reading an essay or a news report. If you were speaking to a friend about sales, you would say something like, you need a better funnel. Also, you need to fix your follow-up emails. You're not going to say, in addition, anywhere in that conversation. So get rid of those academic words because that is how you're going to get your AI content to feel a lot more human. Next up is something that most people don't even notice is missing. Sensory detail. Now, what do I mean by that? AI lives in vague land. It'll speak about things like sales, growth, strategy, but it never really has any kind of impact, don't you think? Humans speak more in reality. And funny enough, this is happening right now, so it makes for a great example. That moment when your laptop fan starts screaming in the middle of recording a video, and I can feel the sweat trickling down my back because I am hoping that that sound doesn't come through the audio when I actually edit the video. For real, I actually hope it doesn't. But these are the types of things that makes your content feel lived in. So add something like this to your prompt. Include specific personal or sensory details that feel lived in and grounded. This one is a prompt edition and it works well for written content or for video content. The goal with it is that you want your audience to feel something when they're consuming your content because that is how you build stronger connections with them. Now this next one is huge. Opinions. Have you ever noticed how AI tries to always stay neutral? It doesn't want to offend, and so what happens is the content that it gives you often sounds bland, like generic elevator music. You're a human. Say what you think. Even a soft opinion is enough to build a lot of trust with your audience. So in your prompt, you can include add mild subjective takes or personal opinions to make the voice feel human. This one is a prompt level fix and it works great for both content formats. It turns something like clarity is important for branding into if you're not clear, your audience gets confused fast. Both of these lines are saying the same thing, but in your opinion, which one is more sticky? Now let's move on to tone, and this one is one of those subtle ones. AI is always locked in on one tone. Friendly, positive, polite. Every single line. Humans are messy. Our tone is always moving. We could start serious, then drift into being playful, then drop some sarcasm, then snap back into serious. Those tone shifts is what makes it authentic. If you're talking about launching a business, you might say something like, launching a business is terrifying, and then switch it up into something like, but it's a shot of adrenaline that you'll never ever feel by sitting in an office cubicle. You see how there's a little wobble in the tone? Nobody sounds the exact same for 1,000 words. So in your prompt, say, allow natural tone shifts from serious to conversational to create variety. Again, this one can be used for both your written content or your video content, and it works great as a prompt level change or a settings customization change. Either way. And on the topic of how humans talk, you might also want to loosen up on the grammar because AI just comes across as too clean, too polished, and too perfect. Nobody writes like that. Nobody talks like that. So you need to give your content some edges. Tell ChatGPT, allow occasional grammar imperfections and sentence fragments for a more human voice. Include slip-ups like these on purpose. For example, yeah, you'll screw up the first time, big deal. Or one rule, show up. That's it. This one's good for both content formats, whether it is a prompt level setting or a permanent customization setting. Start a sentence with and, let it be messy. Let something trail off as you're speaking. That mess is what is going to make your content feel more real and more authentic. Now here's another big one. This is one of the biggest tells, and AI loves this pattern. X isn't just about Y, it's also about Z. Or X is more than Y, it is also Z. Or it's not just X, it's also Y. I'm going to give you a line and don't focus too much on the words, but focus more on the sentence pattern because I'm pretty sure you've seen this a bunch of times. Leadership is not only about strategy, it is also about mindset. This sentence pattern shows up everywhere, and every time I read it, I just think to myself, it might as well have a big red stamp on it saying written by ChatGPT. So the best thing for you to do is to cut it out. Prompt ChatGPT with this instead. Avoid sentence structures that negate or expand expectations. Use direct affirmative statements instead. You want it to rather say something like, leadership is a mindset. Period. That's way more stronger, that's way more cleaner, and is also way more human. And this edition works across the board, whether it's for your written content or your video content. But I do think that it works best as a customization setting, something that is always permanently going to do. Now let's switch it up with something a little unexpected, like tangents. You know, sometimes when we as humans speak, we tend to ramble or we just get a thought and we go off on that thought. That's a tangent. And it may not seem like it, but those types of moments are where your personality sneaks in. AI, on the other hand, stays on track. It never wanders. It's a machine. You might be explaining your morning routine and out of nowhere you get this thought and share it with your audience. Something like, honestly, my best ideas come to me in the morning while I'm boiling the kettle waiting for my coffee. So in your prompt, say, include a short tangent or personal aside that adds human texture. This one's a prompt level instruction, good for both content formats, and it's another one of those where you start using it, you're instantly going to start seeing a change in the way your content is being delivered. And then something that AI forgets to do entirely is ask rhetorical questions. And humans do this all the time because that is how we draw people into a conversation. Remember that you're not just delivering your content, you're inviting your audience in. So tell ChatGPT, use rhetorical questions to mimic natural thought and speech patterns. This one's good for both prompt and custom settings, and it really brings your audience in. It helps them to think alongside you while you're delivering your content. And it also works in both written and if you're using it for writing your video scripts. And the final one is to allow the AI to give you some flavor. You see, AI content is always friendly, polite, careful, and this can oftentimes make it very predictable, which is fine if you're writing a user manual, but if you're creating content for humans, then you might want to add some personality into it. So prompt the AI with add subtle humor, sarcasm, or attitude where appropriate to reflect a real human voice. And you can use this one across the board: written content, video scripts, as a prompt level, or something that is permanently baked into your customization settings. Now, if you want to take this even further and make ChatGPT behave like a real writing partner rather than some kind of formulaic machine, then add these 2 lines into your customization settings. You do it once and you're all set to go. Never use the word just, and then do not use M dashes or SN dashes. Use commas, brackets, or other punctuation. That second one is mostly if you're doing written content and people are actually going to be reading your content. It doesn't really make a difference for video scripts. Now, real quick, if you want to set a permanent instruction in ChatGPT, this is how you do it. So from the chat page, you'll head up to your profile picture, click on that, head over to personalize, and underneath what traits should ChatGPT have, you can copy and paste them right over here and then hit save. And that's it. Those 2 lines plus the prompt tweaks that we just walked through in the video is going to be more than enough to change the way your content sounds when you get it from ChatGPT. So if you want your audience to believe that your words came from you and not from a bot, this is how you do it. Honestly, using AI is a no-brainer, but train it to sound like you. Get it to start it, and then you take the wheel to finish it off like a human would. And let me know which of these different AI tells you spot the most in your day-to-day. Let me know down in the comments. Keep creating, keep growing, and I'll catch you in the next video.